Hi, I'm Abigail Flores. I'm the first member of my family to attend university, a first-generation student. The experience of being the first can have unseen difficulties, in addition to navigating a new campus environment. Many make the effort to trailblaze a path for others to follow, for younger students to see someone like themselves making a go of it in college, to give back to the community. Everyone sees benefit, the individual, the family, the community. It builds a bridge for access to higher education. In this episode of Community Voices, you'll meet a young woman who is helping re-energize one organization's mission of serving Colorado families.
My name is Melanin Armendariz. I was born in Mexico, but I came to the U.S. when I was 4 years old. My major is Human Development and Family Studies with a concentration in Early Childhood Education, a minor in Spanish, and a minor in Chinese. I think for me, what was the most difficult thing was navigating college itself as a first-generation student. So I didn't have any older sibling to ask, like, hey, what do I do here? Like, how do I get to here?
The first generation experience is a special one, one that I hold, I guess that identity I hold, an experience that I had to work through myself. Literally the unknown of the first step, or the person to first ask a question and get some feedback, to have a baseline of information before you walk into the office, doesn't always happen. And that can create a lot of either frustration, or might even just say, hey, this is not a question I'm supposed to ask, and I'll just wait until another time. And so sometimes, again, that first step then becomes their first miss that we would not have recognized in some of our other students.
On campus, their first-gen students' biggest struggles is mostly in the classroom. It's mostly in the classroom with their professors not fully understanding the complexity of their lives, and I'm guilty of this as myself. I see a student who comes late to class or doesn't turn in an assignment, and it's really easy for me to think, oh, this is just a young, irresponsible student that didn't get the job done. But when you ask questions and you ask, how come you weren't in class, or why is this assignment late, or how come this paper is not as strong as the ones you usually turn in are, the answers almost always are, well, my younger brother was sick, or my sister got suspended from school and I had to go down there, or my dad was detained and I had to go and find a lawyer and help my mom deal with the emotional stress of it all. There's more often than not, there's a very legitimate reason, and it's just due to the complicated circumstances that are in front of these students.
I had a lot of responsibilities growing up, and it's not like those went away. Once I moved away, I still had to do all of that from a distance. I would have to sometimes come down and go with my parents places, leave. I would still get emails from my teachers, from my siblings' teachers. They would contact me first because they knew my parents were either working or didn't know how to answer back. So I had to do all of that. Just a lot of, I guess, changes that I wasn't expecting, and just feeling kind of alone.
These students don't have somebody in their direct circle that may have the knowledge historically of the college process, of how to access resources, and how to utilize and leverage networks for support.
What our first-gen students have, though, is the lifetime of problem-solving skills, a lifetime of resiliency, a lifetime of being the community connectors between a medical office and their family members, between the DMV and their auntie, and doing this in ways that are oftentimes in multiple languages, and oftentimes in that code switching, in that cultural competencies that allows them to really be the trusted holders of knowledge for their communities.
I think the needs of some of our first generation students, through my lens, is just a welcoming environment, one that is empowering. I think a supportive, empowering environment that tells them they deserve to be here. They have the right to be the best version of themselves while they're here, And there are resources and there are mechanisms, there are people that are willing to pour into them and really enhance the tools and the talents that they have and the experiences that they bring with them.
I was an intern and I worked with Chelsea, who is the Director of Family and Community Engagement.
It was nice for us to work alongside Melanin and understand some of the barriers that immigrant and first-gen students face.
I think it was like definitely the best spot for me to be a part of because it's that family and community engagement.
Here at the department, Melanin was able to focus on an area that she has a particular passion in, which is early childhood. She was able to sit on the interview panel with 20 plus families and help decide what families could be a part of this new early childhood family voice council, which was a really great experience for her.
The first thing that I remember doing was interviewing people. So I talked about like the Family Voice Council, but the Office of Early Childhood is starting their own Family Voice Council. So I was able to be a part of like interviewing people that wanted to be a part of that Family Voice Council. And it was just really interesting to hear the stories of all of those people and why they're so passionate about early childhood.
I think anywhere in life, I think when a new voice or a new group of shared voice comes to the table and it's actually heard, something changes. And with Melanin, it was like a breath of fresh air, the air that we needed to enter the department. When she came to meetings, everyone was super excited to meet Melanin. She came to Family Voice Council. They didn't care what I had to say anymore. It was what Melanin had to say. And I think, not only did she, stretch us as state employees, but she really helped families too. For families to be able to see that CDHS cares enough to have an intern, an immigrant, a first-gen student here with us, spoke volumes to the families as well.
What I've seen that's undeniable is a growth in her confidence. I always knew that she was smart and I always knew that she was a hard worker, but I would see even in university settings around her peers that she would kind of clam up a little bit and be a little shy or insecure and not as confident in her voice that she has something to contribute. Something happened over these 3 months of the summer where she recognized, or people helped her recognize, the real strength in her story.
So what does it mean to be college ready? And sometimes we're thinking about being academically prepared for the rigor of college. Sometimes we're thinking about being financially prepared and or supported to sustain what it's going to cost and actually knowing what that is at the onset. But sometimes it also may simply mean navigating a difficult interpersonal situation for which you're not ready for.
I'm really proud that Colorado State University is a national leader in support for first-gen students. That comes from offices like the Access Center. It comes from our Communities for Excellence, from programs like the Summer Bridge program, which provides a unique chance for incoming first-gen first-year students to experience 8 weeks of CSU life in the dorms, taking classes before the fall semester starts. I think, as Melanie proved in this internship, oftentimes our first-gen students are the very best of CSU students.